In fact, Ohio has the longest streak of all 50 states in getting presidential elections right. Bill Clinton carried the state in '92 and '96. Barack Obama carried it, of course, in 2008. And Democrats would certainly like to repeat that this year. Joining us now, the chair of the Democratic National Committee, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jim. Great to be with you.
Let's settle this right out of the gate. You're from Florida, so you may dispute which of our states is most important in these presidential elections, but we could probably both agree that the candidate who wins both Florida and Ohio will certainly win the White House.
Well, I would certainly agree with that, but I would also ask you to please not ask me to choose between my children. As the chair of the DNC, both Ohio and Florida are incredibly important. They are both battleground bellwether states, and they're both going to be critical in this presidential election.
Hey, a whole bunch of polls this week, Gallup and Pew come to mind, and there were a couple others, showed this presidential race nationally within the margin of error, very, very close. Are you concerned as you look into Ohio? There was obviously a lot of enthusiasm, particularly among young people and union members in 2008. Is that organization for Democrats in the Buckeye State going to be there? Are you sensing that that apparatus is going to be able to replicate what happened in 2008? Because, again, the president won here with, I think, 51% of the vote.
Well, we're actually far beyond sensing that we're going to put together that kind of an organization. We're in the process of replicating it. We have, as of this weekend, we'll be opening our 18th office in Ohio for Obama for America. We've got offices all across the state. Tens of thousands of volunteers, thousands and thousands of door knocks and phone calls, and house parties and one-on-one meetings have already occurred, and we're building the most significant grassroots dynamic presidential campaign in history, and really that Ohio will have ever seen. So we're in the process of making sure that the people-powered campaign that President Obama was carried to victory on in 2008 is replicated in 2012.
Chair, I know you were watching very closely this recent rift in this party fight between public and private unions. Are you confident that the UAW will step up and be there for President Obama and the rest of the Democratic ticket this fall?
Absolutely. We saw the party chair, Chris Redfern, win re-election in a significant victory. We have a united party. We have a really united grassroots operation because look at where Ohio was and where the country was. When President Obama took office, we literally, from the ashes of an economy left in the wake of President Bush's presidency, the worst economic crisis that we've faced since the Great Depression. The economy was bleeding 750,000 jobs a month, to now, 3 years later, we've had nationally 25 straight months of job growth in the private sector, a resurgence in manufacturing, which is huge for Ohio, the American automobile industry rescued by President Obama, which would have been left for dead and allowed to die if it were left up to Mitt Romney. And obviously the auto industry is responsible for a huge percentage of jobs in Ohio. So when it comes to the priorities of Ohioans, clearly Barack Obama has stepped up to the plate, and Mitt Romney would have left Ohioans twisting in the wind. And I think that's going to be a very clear choice coming into November.
Chair, the flip side of that, I mean, there is a reality. We still have an extremely high unemployment rate in a re-election year. Consumer confidence in the tank. I think Gallup showed last week that 7 out of 10 Americans believe the country is going in the wrong direction. I mean, how do you paint the narrative, convince people that this turnaround is real, and to use a Reagan phrase, that it's morning again in America, to get those independents back on board?
Well, you brought up Ronald Reagan. Let's look at what Ronald Reagan said during his presidency about tax reform, for example. Even Ronald Reagan publicly said that millionaires should not be paying a lower tax rate than their secretaries, that it's inappropriate and wrong and doesn't make any sense for people who make more than $1 million to be paying a lower tax rate than people who make far less than them that work for them. And that's what Barack Obama's been fighting for the middle class, fighting for working families. Mitt Romney's economic policies, he wants to return us to the failed policies of the past that brought us to the precipice of economic disaster, that put Ohio in dire straits. Now, we have an unemployment rate now that is coming down and steadily. The unemployment rate in Ohio is below the national average. We have a resurgence in manufacturing, where a year ago Mitt Romney said we would never again be a manufacturing-based economy, and that manufacturing was not something that we could count on in the future. You know, President Obama knows that we should have policies focused on being able to make it in America again, so that people can make it in America. And we're going to have a discussion and a debate in this presidential election that shows the dramatic contrast in the visions and the two different directions this country could go. And I think the middle class and working families are going to carry President Obama back to the White House.
Chairman Priebus, a few minutes ago on this program, said that the war on women was phony, that it was kind of trumped up by you and the news media. He said that we should separate the issue of abortion from a quote-unquote attack on women. What's your take on that?
My take on that is that Chairman Priebus continues to double down on the insulting way that his party has treated women. This is a Republican Party that believes that women shouldn't have access to affordable birth control, that has tried to defund Planned Parenthood, and that in Ohio, even now, today, is taking up legislation that would defund Planned Parenthood, deny women access to affordable health care. Planned Parenthood clinics provide essential referrals to mammograms and clinical breast exams. As a breast cancer survivor, I know that I'm one job loss away under the current health care system from being uninsured and uninsurable, as are the 45% of Americans who live in this country with a pre-existing condition. The Republican Party, led by Reince Priebus, believe that women's priorities don't matter. And that's going to be a huge problem for them. Running
short on time, let me just ask, when you heard the Hillary Rosen comment, did you just shake your head? I mean, that was at least a temporary setback, right, in the message?
Look, we as Democrats believe that women and our priorities economically, in terms of health care, in terms of the focus on education and making sure that we can outcompete and out-innovate the rest of the world, women understand that it's Democrats and President Obama that are going to focus on what matters to us. That's why President Obama enjoys an 18-point gap when it comes to who women will choose for president. And that will also help him go back to the White House in November.
Sure. Tell me, how uneasy are you with these super PACs? We've seen just an amazing amount of money being spent independently of your party and the Republican National Committee. Are you concerned that we're going to be able to get our arms around all of this cash that is going to be sort of unchecked this fall?
Well, the Republican Party has fully embraced super PACs, the Citizens United decision that came out of the Supreme Court that allowed these opaque contributions, corporate contributions, to overwhelm our democracy and really without any accountability at all and go unchecked completely to influence elections. Mitt Romney and the Republicans have totally embraced that. And Barack Obama and Democrats, we continue to run people-powered campaign. Barack Obama doesn't accept PAC money. He doesn't accept money from federal lobbyists, nor does the DNC. And our average contribution to this point is $50. 98% of our contributions are less than $200. The Republicans have, their campaign coffers are fueled by special interests, and they know that when they can't win this election on the merits, that they're going to have to count on hundreds of millions of dollars of super PAC ads that are going to try to distort and mischaracterize President Obama's record. We're going to have to push back hard and let the grassroots speak for itself.
Chair, we're down to 30 seconds. To draw excitement to this ticket, come on. Should Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden do a switcheroo there in Charlotte, where he runs as a Secretary of State and she runs as Vice President? Come on, that'd be very exciting. Are you for that?
Joe Biden has been a fantastic vice president. He will continue to be a fantastic vice president of the United States of America. And Hillary Clinton has been an awesome Secretary of State. They're both in the right place.
It would set her up, though. Well. It would set her up nicely for 2016. Just saying. You might want to all debate among yourself.
I don't think Hillary Clinton needs to be vice president of the United States in order to be set up nicely for anything she wants to do in the future. She's done a fantastic job.
Good point. Congresswoman, as always, good to see you. Hope to see you quite a program between now and November. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.